Shalom. First off, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash, Yahweh, by being true name for the Heavenly Father, and Yahushai being named for his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone, and taught us truth and will well, and salutations to you, hopeful elect, listeners truth and all honesty and sincerity. This is Brother Yahweh coming to lessons to spirit power, Yahweh Yahushai. And this lesson is going to be a response to Iuic. You have this guy goes by the name of Deacon Yawasop in Iuic, who gives a completely incorrect breakdown of the mark of the beast. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the first clip that Elder Menendez Zopbach shared of this guy speaking on it, and then we're gonna go into some scriptures to give you a correction and a true breakdown, because hey, we have to warn you people of these things, because this thing is coming to pass extremely soon. I wouldn't be surprised if they start really rolling this out this year, and into next year could very well potentially try to make it mandatory. All right, so pay close attention to what this guy says incorrectly, and we're gonna go into the scriptures to basically cut and break these wickedness, okay, these false teachings apart. All right, so check it out.
And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
This is what we have to do. We have to make sure that we in our household teach these commandments to our children. We have to make sure that everybody in the house is in order, under one accord, teaching and following these commandments. Read that again.
And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
Diligently means the Bible. Means all that other foolishness. You have to socially steer your house. Don't have some craziness, foolishness on your television, on your phones and all of that. Having the wrong kind of people coming in and out of your house. These are the things that's going to mess your whole system up. You got to make sure that things that comes through your door is 100% compliance to keeping the commandments. Whether it's your children, anybody that come through there. If these rules are not obeyed, you will not come in. That's how you got to be. Read. Y'all all heard about what's called the mark of the beast, correct?
Yes, sir.
The mark of the beast, what they say in your forehead or in your hand, is saying the same thing here. So you either have the mark of God in your head or you have the mark of Satan in your head. That's how it goes. That's who's doing it. Either God is going to socially steer you or Satan is going to socially steer you. It's trying to steer us beyond the horizon for us to get to where we need to go or take us to destruction. That's what we have to be mindful of. Okay, read that again. Read a little faster too. Lee.
Yes, sir. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand.
Thou shalt bind these commandments upon the hand, meaning what you do. That's why I'm saying hand there. What you do. Go ahead.
And they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes.
And what's between your eyes? Your brain, your mind. So your mind got to be reflective of the commandments of the Most High in your thinking, and your hands is the action of you doing what your mind told you to do. If you ain't dealing with the Most High, you're going to think of sin, and you're going to commit sin with your hand. Understand the connection. That's how it works. We're going to read that. Where you at?
That was verse 8.
Read on.
And thou shalt write them upon the post of thy house and upon thy gates. And it shall be, when the Lord thy God shall have...
That was it. Read verse 9 again.
And thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates.
So this is what the Most High told us to do when we came out of Egypt. The Most High wanted to make sure that we understood his commandments as opposed to the evils and the way of the Egyptians, because he had taken us out of Egypt at this point. Y'all all right? So he had to break away from that. That's what he's doing to us now. Okay, that's why the Bible says, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins. How are we partakers of Esau's sins, of this society's sins? By following the wicked. By following the philosophy in our minds and doing wickedness. That's the mark of the beast and don't even know it. You think it's about somebody writing some 666 on your head and all that. Ain't got nothing to do with that at all. That 666 represent destruction. Because the number is in the Bible. That's Esau's number.
Believe a lie.
Go ahead.
That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
They had pleasure in sin because they were socially engineered to love sin and hate God. Now, again, that's the mark of the beast. Now I'm going to deal with the mark, and then I'm going to deal with the mark of God. Read Revelation. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the mark of the beast. Revelation 13 and 14.
Yes, sir. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of.
Okay, so let's pause right there. All right. We're going to rewind it and let's hear that again, what he just said, referring to what is considered the mark. Okay. He's talking about what is considered the mark, and let's rewind it and see what he said about it.
For love. Okay, read that again. Read a little faster too, Lee.
Yes, sir. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand.
Thou shalt bind these commandments upon the hand, meaning what you do. That's why I'm saying hand there. What you do. Go ahead.
And they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes.
And what's between your eyes? Your brain, your mind. So your mind.
So right here, he's telling you what is considered receiving the mark in the hand. This is his breakdown of it. So let's go into, first and foremost, we got to go into what the scriptures say, what the mark of the beast is, when it's referenced. It's a future prophecy that is read about all the way in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter. So all the way in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, is where we first begin to hear about the mark of the beast. So if you're going to speak about that, you got to go to the root. All right, so let's go to it. All right, so we got to go into the meaning of the words, and we're going to get the precept. He said he's giving you the understanding of the mark of the beast, right? Revelation 13 and 16. Okay. Blue letter. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So from now on, we're going to call it MOTB when we're talking about the mark of the beast. All right. So let's go into the word mark here that he's breaking down what it is. All right. Let's see what the blue letter of the scriptures say. Okay. It comes from this word.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma. Charagma.
Okay, and this is what it means. A stamp or an imprinted mark, okay? And you go on further. It says a scratch or etching, a stamp. Okay? It comes from charax, from charasso, to sharpen to a point, scratching. Okay, a pale or stake. Now we think of that when it's talking about a pale stake, you know, it's the same thing that they use to stab, you know, vampires in the chest with. They call that a stake. Okay? To sharpen to a point. Okay? Now, so this is talking about a pointed instrument that's used to write upon. Okay? Used to go underneath the skin. Now, I'm going to go in further here. Book of Revelation 13 and 17. It says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So right here, when you're talking about the MOTB, this thing that it's referring to has control of you being able to make purchases or to sell something. Okay? It says, here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now this is an important part of the precept as well, because it further edifies you on what it's talking about. Okay? Yeah, he said 666, right? We're going to get to that as well when he made that statement. All right, but look, let's get that breakdown of that. And this is why you got to go into the meaning of words, man. This is what cuts down all those false prophets. All right, so here we go. This is where it comes from. Chi, psi, stigma. Okay? And we're going to go into the root words here. It comes from stigma. It means prick, mark, pricked, or branded upon the body. To ancient Oriental uses, slaves and soldiers bore the name or the stamp of their master or commander, branded or pricked into their bodies, cut into, to indicate what master or general they belonged to. There were even some devotees who stamped themselves in this way with the token of their gods. Strong's definition, stigma, to prick, mark, incise, or punched for a recognition of ownership. Now, I want to show you something real quick.
Perform various tasks. Colin Corvino, a smartphone repairman in Brooklyn, New York, uses his chips to open his front door. He found them on a website called Dangerous Things that sells implant kits and offers user tips.
I came across it when I was doing research on the Samsung Dead.
Swift, a pinch of the skin, and in a matter of seconds, the chip is inserted. The transformation is complete. As for the pain,
I barely felt it.
but even in this nation of early adopters,
Thought it would be
when Elias Brotberger goes to work, he doesn't need ID. And he doesn't need money. In fact, much of what he needs to get through the day is hidden right there, just below the surface, in his hand.
You like to touch it?
All right, so you see that. You see how it corresponds what we're just reading with the definition. This is definitely talking about a device. It isn't talking about the scriptures being in your hand or not of what that dude's referring to.
Carrying your wallet in your back pocket or your purse, a tech company wants you to keep it under your skin.
All right, so let's explain here. Walletmore is selling microchips implanted in your hand as an alternate payment. Could this be the future? Maybe. Once you set up your card info in the company's app, look at this, it says payments could be as easy as swiping your hand over a card reader.
You hear that? You hear that? We'll read that again, Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. So we just went into Quran and broke that down, what that means. In their right hand or in their forehead. So both, this is a device that goes in your hand and your head. Okay? And another device that goes in your head has been invented. Is something called a Neuralink implant by Elon Musk. Okay, here it is. It's here. They've already had their first human trial started. And this allows you to instantly search the internet, download information, learn a new language, cause, paralyzed limbs to be able to move again, all sorts of things. Okay? Transfer memories and thoughts, order things online, remotely with your brain. All of that. These techs are here, man. Look at this, man. This stuff is here. Okay? So it says in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. Did they say that in the video? Used to make purchases, buying or selling with the thing? Come on now. Come on now. So let's go back to what that dude's video.
Read a little faster, too. Lee.
Yes, sir. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand. And
Thou shalt bind these commandments upon the hand, meaning what you do. That's why I'm saying hand there. What you do. Go ahead.
and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes.
And what's between your eyes? Your brain, your mind.
Now, we got to go back to the blue letter again to see if that precept mentions anything of that word mark that we just read in all the way in Revelation 13. We got to go all the way back, man. These clowns, dude, these are false prophets that are agents. They're set up and they're paid for by the government to basically combat the truth that we're speaking to convince people to go take that technology. And they needed to infiltrate, in their mind, the Israelite community. So they need to come up with their own Israelite group, pay off one of the leaders to push their bullshit. Okay? Now here's Deuteronomy 6 and 8, which he just quoted. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. What that's talking about? That's talking about grabbing the scriptures and reading them. Has nothing to do with the MOTB. Okay? Bind them upon it for a sign in thy hand, they shall be their frontlets, as frontlets between thine eyes, meaning, well, frontlets goes into what they would put on their foreheads. Okay? They would basically hang necklaces of scriptures or just simply have the scriptures on them. Phylacteries, that's what it's talking about. Okay? It's not talking about the charagma. You don't see the word charagma here for that. Did you see charagma? What about when he said bind? What word is there? Kashar? To bind, to fast, to hold on to grip. Okay? To love, bind up together. So, no. This has nothing to do with Revelation 13 and 16, the MOTB breakdown. What he's trying to do is push that committing acts of sin or thinking about sin is considered receiving the mark of the beast, and that is wrong. The actual mark of the beast talked about in Revelation 13 is talking about an actual device. Yes, it is wrong. It is still considered sin to take the device. So in some way, yeah, you could say that. But ultimately, the MOTB is the RFID microchip implant. That's what it is. Okay? Let's continue to see what he said.
Ain't got nothing to do with that at all. That 666 represent destruction. Because the number is in the Bible. That's Esau's number.
And what did we read about 666? It goes into stigma. Okay? Now, the image of the beast can go into committing acts of sin and worshiping what the government tells you to do. That's the image, but that is not the mark. Big difference. Okay?
A lie.
Go ahead.
That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
They have pleasure in sin because they were socially engineered to love sin and hate God. Now, again, that's the mark of the beast. Now I'm going to deal with the mark of, and then I'm going to deal with the mark of God. Read Revelation. I'm going to talk.
That's wrong. The pleasures of sin is not what's considered that you took the mark of the beast. If that's the case, everybody would have already taken it. And that means you're doomed for death. You're not going to get any deliverance. So nobody's going to get delivered because everybody has committed sin. Everyone. Him speaking, he's committed sin. So, Deacon Yawasop of IUIC, does that mean you took the mark of the beast because you committed sin? No. No.
A little bit more about the mark of the beast. Revelation 13 and 14.
Yes, sir. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13 and verse 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
The sight of the beast is all seven heads. That's what it's talking about. So there's this one particular one, which was Rome, came back as America, dropped bombs on people, and the rest of the beasts saw that, and they gave power to America, basically. Read.
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do.
Now, what he's not going to talk about is the miracles that's done. When that technology, that RFID technology, has made people be able to walk again. So people would call that what? A miracle. Blind to be able to see. Okay? Be able to control with your thoughts a computer, download information, search the internet. That would be considered a miracle. Be able to control a drone, a robot with your thoughts. That would be considered a miracle. Okay?
In the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast.
The image that they made was this white image that they called Jesus Christ. Put that image up there. Caesar Borgia, you should have that criminal on deck. We used to keep him in a cage over there. You should have him ready to go up when I asked for him. Where you at? There you go. Okay, read that again.
Which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast.
This is the image that they made. This the beast. That's the image of the white man. That's the image of the beast. Go ahead.
The image of the beast goes into bowing down to those governments, those 7 heads that he mentioned. I got to get the picture out, the poster out. All right, so here you go. This is the beast right here. And you read it here. You got America, the Greeks, the British, Germania Minor, the Spanish, the French, the Romans, Germania Major. Okay. Then you also have NATO. All right, which was established in August 4th, 1949, consisted of 19 nations: Greece, Italy, Spain, France, West Germany, the UK, Portugal, Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Canada, Norway, Denmark, Iceland, Turkey, United States, Poland, Hungary, and Czech Republic. These nations make up NATO, which is the beast. Now, if you make an image, means to bow down and worship to, means you listen, you do what the government says to do. And what the government is going to say to do is to go take that device, the RFID microchip implant. They're going to tell you to take that. Eventually, you're going to be given an instruction to do it. And if you don't, there's going to be legal consequences. And eventually, it will lead up to legal, death. Okay, you receive the death penalty. Eventually, it will go to that. It's not just talking about Cesare Borgia's picture, man, or white Jesus picture. No, I mean, yeah, of course, the beast has pushed that false religion on us, so you could say that part of the image a little bit. But it's talking about doing what the government say do. Is what it's referring to. Okay. Oh my God.
Verse 15.
Read. Come on.
And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
That's what I was talking about earlier. In their right hand and in their forehead. Meaning to do sin
and that had nothing to do with this precept at all. In Deuteronomy 6, 7 through 8, mention nothing about the mark of the beast. Those words were not there at all. We broke that down, man. He broke that down. So what is he talking about?
think sin. That's all it's talking about.
And great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
That's what I was talking about earlier. In their right hand and in their forehead. Meaning to do sin and think sin. That's all it's talking about. Ain't talking about some microchip. That bull crap out of your head. There ain't no microchip gonna make you sin. People.
You see? There it is. There it is. That right there shows his whole purpose of doing it. He wants to. They're going to teach their congregation to go take that technology, and we broke it down flawlessly through the scriptures, through the meaning of the words and definitions, and through pictures and videos that it's talking about the implant technology. And he said it's not going to make you sin. What? What did the book of Leviticus say about making cuttings in your flesh, which was required to take that thing? This is the book of Leviticus 19:28. You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. And we broke that down of the type of mark that they're talking about at Charagma. So he said there ain't no sin. What? He cut himself because he talked about, accepting the philosophies and the pictures of Cesare Borgia, basically bowing down and doing what Esau Edom tells you to do. And taking that device in your body that's going to manipulate your brain and your hand, you're accepting Esau Edom as your God, your power, and you're trusting in him to make the decisions for you. And we broke down what that meaning of that word means. Exactly what Revelation 13 and 16 is talking about. So, hey, the scriptures say what? Let's get it. This is the book of Matthew 24 and 11. It says, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. You know how big IUIC is? They're huge, man. So many are being deceived by this. And they just broke down the Shabbat the wrong way. They said that the new moon is considered the full moon. That's wrong too. That's a whole nother lesson to go into though, man. it's just, the list is just going on and on and on. So, hey, brothers is putting out lessons left and right on this. We continue to push this out to warn the flock, the true followers of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that you don't be deceived. This guy is a false prophet. IUIC is full of false prophets, wicked scribes and Pharisees. They're not speaking the truth. For him to go out and say that blatantly goes to show IUIC's plans and intentions. When that technology comes out, they're going to tell him it's cool to take it. They're going to tell him it's cool to take it, man. Just like they said it was cool to take the juice thing in the people's arms. Said that too. So, hey, y'all playing with fire, man. Fall in that group. Hey, come up out of that shit. If you can't see by now what's coming with this collapse, they can start pushing this shit this year, trying to make it mandatory. If a civil war kicks off, and World War III hits full force, best believe they're going to be trying to make that shit mandatory. They got to keep track of everybody. And that's the form of currency. Everything's going to digital currency, right? You got over 160 countries that join BRICS. So, hey, we here. We here, man. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it on that. You know, y'all seen it. Proof's in the pudding. Broke it down flawlessly. Deuteronomy 6, 7 through 8 is not anywhere, shape, and form attached to Revelation 13 and 16. Deuteronomy 6 is talking about get the commandments, put them in your hand, and read it. That's what it's talking about. So with that, Lord's will, this lesson's edifying. I'm going to close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKadosh. Double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone, taught us truth and will well. And salutations to you, hopefully, like pushing this truth in all honesty and sincerity. Shalom.